Hey, I want to show you how to find property details if the property has never been listed on the MLS before. So a lot of times when we go to do a CMA, the first step is always going to be to identify the subject property, and finding an old MLS sheet is typically the best way to do it. But sometimes it's not going to have been listed before. So let me show you how you can find the details about a house if it's never been listed before. So go to search, residential full. Oh, I better share. It's not going to be very helpful if I don't share. Boom. Okay, go to search, residential full search right here. And I'm going to search for that property. The property I'm going to search for, I just cleared criteria. So the property we're trying to do a CMA on is 958 West Road. When I put it in, notice I didn't put the direction and I didn't put street or drive or lane, nothing that can screw it up. I did it just the way I normally would, and you'll see there's no matches. And so that tells us it's never been listed on the MLS before. So what do we do now? Go up to search and then tax data search. This time we're going to search by house number only, 958, just the house number, nothing else. Pick the county that it's in. This is in Salt Lake County, and then hit search. Then we can go down. So we've got 958. Let's scroll down. These are alphabetical. So we found McKenna Road right here. Then just click on the tax ID number, and now you've got all the info about the property. So things that you can find on here are going to be, this is tax information, which can be helpful. It shows the acreage. Don't worry about any of the market values or anything. You're not going to use any of that in your CMA. We just don't really care what the county thinks it's worth, to be honest. Okay, then you've got year built, above ground square footage, so everything that's above grade, number of stories too, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. It says 2 full and 1 partial, so 2.5 baths. And then one of the big things right here is going to be the square footage. So this is probably the most complicated part, and I'll show you kind of how I'm going to overcome it and figure out exactly what the square footage is going to be like on this particular place. So this is really what I'll do. If I take this little calculator here, okay, we already know 2219, that's the above grade square footage. So I'm going to write that down. 2219 is above grade. I'm actually going to write it here so I can share it with you all. Okay, 2219 is the above grade square footage. What other numbers do we have here? So we've got base area is 914. A base area is typically going to be like the main square footage of the home, basically like the footprint of the home's square footage. So 914, I'm going to say that's probably the main floor. So that's probably the main floor. And then you've got the second floor, which says 1289. That's the upper story. So this says that the upper story is 1289. Well, in a perfect world, these two would add up to that number. Let's see if they do. 1289 plus 914 is 2203. Doesn't it add up exactly, but it's pretty dang close. I would probably go with that just because it matches with the, I would probably go with this breakdown here because that is how it's listed out on here. Now, the only other piece is the basement. Well, the basement's typically going to be the same as, say, this base area here. And it could be this building perimeter here. That could be the main level square footage instead. You could use either one, probably. Either would be fine. I'm going to put 914. I'm being a little more conservative. I don't want to overpromise what this square footage on this house is. So let's say add those all together, 1289 plus 914 on the main floor plus 914 on the basement, just as a little clarification. So the reason the main floor is typically going to be the same as the basement because the garage cuts into both of those, whereas the second floor can typically be bigger because they're usually for rooms over the garage. So anyways, when you add those together, that equals 3117. square feet. So that's what we're showing. This house is 3,117 total square feet. Probably makes more sense to put at the bottom, but total square feet, and then it's broken down by those different floors. Now, let's say you didn't know it was a 2-story. Like this one was pretty clear that it was a 2-story. Some are not. Go to the, if I didn't know for sure, this might be a bad example because I don't know if it's on Google here, but just Google it and then go to the street view and then see, okay, it's a 2-story. It's obviously a 2-story, right? Obviously, if when you're doing this, if you find out that it's a, if it's a Rambler, then you can look at it. If you're not sure whether it has a basement or not, because sometimes it won't be clear. Like on a Rambler, most of the time it will only show 1 square footage figure, which would just be the main floor. So then you can pull up Google Maps, see if there's a basement. So just look for like window wells or some sort of sign that there's a basement. If there is, then I would just typically double that square footage so that it's on, so that it's taking into account the main floor square footage plus the basement square footage. So you just have to kind of use it that way. And you want to end up figuring out, okay, what's the square footage of this? What are the bedrooms and bathrooms that the house has? What's the acreage? How many cars fit in the garage? All that stuff. That way you can start comparing it with other properties accurately and get that info that you need. So anyways, if you have a property that's never been listed, go to the tax data records. Good luck.